And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
That's right, the Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by Brandon Rhymes. Brandon Rhymes is out today. My name is James DeJerome. I'm the Consumer Quarterback Executive Producer. I want to thank Brandon for giving me the opportunity to fill in while he's on vacation. We've got the same show we always do for you, a consumer advocacy program. We want to make you a better consumer in the marketplace. That's our goal. So what we do is we've assembled a group of business people, 80 different categories of show partners. We're big in the home services, solar, plumbing, roofing. Of course, Brandon is in real estate, so all things real estate associated with the program. We have lawyers, lots of legal experts that join the show. So we want to be that place you tune to, the place you go for information when you're thinking about making a purchase. Now, we realize you may not be making a roofing purchase or an insurance purchase today. However, we've got some experts in those categories that are ready to provide some information for you. So Doug Levi is our insurance partner. He's going to be on the show today, and Doug has knowledge in all manner of insurance, automobile, home. We talk all kinds of insurance issues. And beyond that, we talk about what your hurricane needs might be beyond your insurance needs, but how to make sure you're working with an insurance professional who can look out for all your needs. As far as Chuck Peterson goes, Suncoast Roofing, one of the longest partners we've had on the show. Chuck has been all over the state. They work everywhere. They're really interested in making sure you're prepared for hurricane season. These guys go out of their way for you. So again, it's a consumer advocacy show. My name is James DeJerome. We're going to provide that information for you. We've assembled the partners. We're going to do a feel-good story as well. And I got one for you you're really going to like. This feel-good story today, it's like a Disney movie. So again, we're doing our best to provide you some information, and we want to make you feel better about where we're headed. So we want to encourage you to commit a random act of kindness and check out our feel-good story every day. So again, it's the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Come on back and check out our guest, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Thanks for staying with us. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Brandon is on vacation today. I'm your backup quarterback, James DeJerome. I'm going to do the same thing that Brandon always does, and that means get our partners on the phone. And we've got a bunch of great partners. We're going to get into the show here in just a bit. I wanted to talk about some of our sponsors on the program. First of all, Golf Cart Depot has been working with the Consumer Quarterback Show now for a while. They provide a great service, and if you guys haven't had an opportunity to use a golf cart for other than golfing, you find out what utility it really is. I think your kids will love it. And I think you'll realize how convenient it is to have around. And Golf Cart Depot certainly has all the different products out there. Easy Go, Star, Cushman. They've done a lot of stuff in our area already, working with different businesses. So you'd be surprised at how much utility you can get out of a golf cart. Give Golf Cart Depot a call and see if you can't work with them. They do a great job with us. I'm telling you, Brandon says best place to go to take care of all your golf cart needs. And again, golf carts are a lot more than just for golfing. So keep that in mind as you get out there. One of the other things, of course, Brandon Rhymes is known for is his affiliation with Keller Williams and Platinum MVP Realty. And he's got a couple of properties we're going to show you right now. We've got one here at 6417 YVETTE Drive. 6417 YVETTE Drive offers homeowners, home buyers a chance to live the waterfront lifestyle. That's the thing about living in Tampa and especially in Florida. Waterfront home with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1-car garage, great opportunity, right near Hudson Beach Estates, deep saltwater canal, close to the Gulf of Mexico. This home has real Mexican tile throughout. The kitchen has Japanese fired tile, countertops, brand new appliances. This home is a large master suite, walk-in closet and bathroom. There's also sliders to allow you to go out to the porch. What a good looking property that is at 6417 YVETTE Drive in Hudson. Again, just contact Brandon if you have any interest in these. I got another one for you. 1179 Dartford Drive in Tarpon Springs. Just listed this property. Gorgeous, clean 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. Screened pool, many extras. Welcome to your new gated golf course club community in Crescent Oaks. Enjoy the security of a gated community, the luxuries of living on a conservation lot that overlooks mature landscaping, where you can spot deer occasionally. Owner's pride shines through in this new home. Lots of upgrades. Hurricane windows, new pavers, walkways all around, hurricane shutters in the garage, water softener, filtration system. Man, that is a good-looking home at 1179 Dartford Drive in Tarpon Springs. And lastly, I want to tell you about 4209 Preserve Place. He's got a place over in Palm Harbor. 4209 is also waterfront. Gorgeous 222 condo, vaulted ceilings, spacious layout. He's got 2-bedroom split floor plan, plenty of privacy. Bonus room that can be opened up to a 3rd bedroom if you desire. Cathedral ceilings. It really feels open in there. It's a big open space. He's got a lanai patio. Formal dining area is great for those big holiday functions. Kitchen has all new appliances and granite countertops. I'm telling you, this interior was painted within the last 3 years. An abundance of storage as well as a 2-car garage. Check it all out right near Lake Tarpon with a boat ramp. 4209 Preserve Place, Palm Harbor, Florida. So just a couple of properties there from the Platinum MVP team and Brandon and his guys out there working for you to try to find the best housing he can. And certainly he's got plenty of deals. Get in touch with him for all your housing needs. Now, part of our show, the most important part of our show, is the collection of partners that we have that provide information and knowledge to all our folks out there that watch the show. Today, we've got our insurance quarterback on the show. I'm so lucky to have Doug Levi join us. Hey, Doug, how you doing?
James, good to be here. Good to be the starting insurance quarterback, even if I'm working with the backup.
There you go.
Host, so
that's what we need.
I won't hold that against you. I
definitely,
know you're a good captain, so.
You need to help your backups. That's what you do. When you're a good backup, you lean on your starters. So I'm here to lean on you a little bit, Doug. I know insurance is you're all things insurance. You're all over. You do everything, and everything's a little bit changed as a result of our current situation with COVID-19. What have you seen, or what can you tell our listeners about what's different for you as a result of this?
Yeah, so a couple of things that we just want to make sure our consumers are knowing out there, and we always want to focus on having that heart of a teacher, as Dave Ramsey says. So probably one of the biggest ones and looking for a practical takeaway for the listeners.
Right.
These would be people that are probably in any level of construction, contracting, and or a restaurant. With your liability insurance, it likely is rated either off of revenue or payroll.
Okay.
The business insurance is normally rated on one of 3 things, either revenue, payroll, or square footage. And a lot of our, again, people in the contracting space and restaurant space, normally revenue or payroll. So if you've had that dip due to COVID, make sure you're calling your insurance company and seeing about getting that projected revenue and or payroll updated, because you very well would be overpaying.
Hey, Doug, is that based on a period of time that you have to wait?
Not necessarily. So normally the way the policies, most insurance policies for business insurance run annually, right? So it'll go July 2020 to July 2021. And again, you have the scenario where, let's say it's, you're a contractor and you're basing it on $150,000 on payroll, and your payroll's down because of COVID. Your business has been impacted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're paying a higher rate at $150,000 in projected payroll. And you could call the carrier at any point or your agent and say, hey, I want to make an update to my business insurance because my numbers are lower than what's projected, right? So you could do that at any point. It will get picked up at audit, right? So in theory, it will get picked up a year from now when the carrier goes back and says, okay, what was your actual payroll from July 2020 to July 2021? But I always say, between the insurance company having the money and my clients having the money, I'd rather my clients have the money. I'm not feeling as bad for the insurance company. So
I got you. So you just got to be prepared for that.
You got to be prepared for that. You got to be proactive, right? Now, we've been doing a proactive approach and contacting our clients where this could apply and helping them make those changes now. We've been seeing some great cost reductions for businesses that really, really need it. So
there's an opportunity. There may even be an opportunity for savings, you're saying.
No, there's definitely an opportunity for savings. I mean, we've had some restaurants save $3,000 to $5,000 a year. And right now, that's a big difference.
Absolutely.
Savings, right? So, people can always check us out, TampaBayInsurance.com. You can fill your info right out there. We're always happy to help. Take a look at your current policy, see if we can improve your situation.
Man, what a great offer from Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. If you folks out there aren't sure, or it's something you haven't done lately, because I don't think shopping insurance is something a lot of folks like to do when they get a day off or something like that. Let Doug do the work for you, because it'd be a shame to think that you're just letting your money get wasted there.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what we do. That's what we specialize in. We've got a process where we do it each year for our clients. So we've got some really, really great systems in place leveraging technology, and we've got, over 17 full-time team members to make sure that client requests are going smoothly and things are being handled. So that's a big one right now. Then the other one that's obviously big right now, and will probably be coming more in the next few months, is just hurricane season. So
Absolutely.
It's just always that call to action to people to make sure you're prepared. I know a lot of times, look, I've been doing this for 18 years. I've been in the insurance business, and I know myself, I've been caught where I'm preaching, teaching on this stuff, but it's like, man, I don't have water or food or certain things saved or lined up. I've been there. I've taken a much more proactive approach having kids in the last few years. Mm-hmm. But our call to action right now, not necessarily on the insurance front, just on the preparation front, you have 3 days of food and water, you have emergency supplies, you have fresh batteries, flashlights, just some very basic things is always a good idea to do. On the insurance front, you really want to get an eye on your policy and understand what your out-of-pocket costs would be. Most people are shocked if they don't really know or aren't as familiar with or don't take the time to look. Homeowners policies and business insurance policies have deductibles that are typically anywhere from 2 to 5% of the dwelling amount. So, James, if we keep the numbers just very simple,
right.
If I've got a $200,000 home and I've got a 5% hurricane deductible, that's $10,000 out of pocket in the event of a hurricane. Mm. So you really want to understand those numbers. You want to look and see, what did you pick? Or when you signed up for your insurance, did a realtor refer you to someone who was just showing you the absolute cheapest thing and you got more exposure and more risk than you could really handle?
Right.
Really good idea to get your eyes on those numbers. And it says typically very clearly, if you're can't find your policy, you could always call the carrier directly or call your agent. And of course, you can always, contact us. We're happy to do a review.
And Doug, modifications to your house or additions, those kind of things prompt a new idea or a new search. You need to go back and take a look at your policy and make sure it's still effective.
Yeah. So we mentioned on the show maybe a few months ago, we just had a client, and we'll hold all names. People will remain nameless to protect innocent, if you will. But we had a client who added 1,500 square feet, and he almost doubled the size of his house. Hmm. And, we follow up proactively, offering to do what we call our protection reviews. We want to make sure we're checking in with our clients each year, that they're getting the best rates that are out there, and understanding, has anything changed? And that was a great case in point, because that guy's added 1,500 square feet onto his house. He doesn't make any changes to his homeowner's insurance. And let's say Hurricane James comes along, knocks that house down.
Right.
He's not going to be a very happy camper, understanding, oh, wait a minute, my new addition isn't really covered. So always a good idea if you're making any changes, additions, major alterations to your home, you want to get in touch with the insurance carrier and your agent to make sure you're getting proper protection.
Hey, Doug, just another question that occurred to me. Again, I'm a novice in this world. As your home increases, as you make modifications to the structure, we just talked about how that can change your insurance needs. What about just raising values? Your home is raising in value. You haven't necessarily modified the structure or done anything to it, but you're seeing increased values. Does that prompt you a new review, a need for a review?
Great question. So most insurance policies have what's known as an inflation guard built into them. And this can go both ways. I tell people you've got ditches on both sides of the road with some things. So the idea is that you take a policy out with me today, James, and let's say, again, we'll keep the numbers super simple. Let's say it's $100,000 in coverage,
right. And
you keep paying your premium each year, your policy renews each year, and the carrier gives you a 5% inflation rider. So next year it goes to $105,000. After that, and it keeps multiplying and going up. Mm-hmm. Let's say you don't contact me for 20 years. You just keep paying, and I've reached out to you, but you haven't heard from you.
Sure.
You may be overinsured at that point. The inflation guard may have kicked in too much, right? Oh. So in general, that inflation guard is there to protect people who aren't making any changes, aren't really doing anything, but to keep pace with cost of inflation with regards to building costs. And again, the flip side is, well, maybe you haven't checked in with us, but that inflation guard really isn't enough 10 years from now to truly replace your home. So it's a good idea, and insurance agents can provide you with something known as a replacement cost estimate.
Right.
We have software that all the carriers utilize where we basically say, look, we don't care what the home is worth. Those are things that obviously, Brandon and a real estate function, and you as a practical consumer want to understand, what could I sell my home for? On the insurance side, we just want to know, if the home's destroyed or badly damaged, how much is it going to cost to rebuild, right? That's a very important number, and it's definitely a good idea probably every 2 to 3 years at least to get your eyes on that and have an updated one done.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that those numbers can be changed without your direct knowledge. I mean, your comps in your neighborhood change, and if you're not aware of that, you could be sitting in a different value.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. Like I said, it can swing both ways.
Absolutely. One of the things I've heard you mention as critical, and I think a lot of folks hear it, but they don't necessarily act on it, is the uninsured motorist. I think a lot of folks are shopping their auto insurance just bottom line, and they don't really consider all the different factors. I've heard you make a real good case for that. Can you do that again, Doug?
Yeah, no doubt. So, and some of our partners on the show who are in the personal injury space are some of the biggest advocates from it, and they have no skin in the game. I mean, they don't get paid on insurance or anything. They'll be some of the biggest advocates for uninsured motorists. So we just talk high level. About 20 to 30% of all drivers in the state of Florida have no insurance at all, or the absolute bare bones minimum.
Right.
And the idea is, if you get into an accident with someone and it's their fault, they've got no coverage, they're uninsured or underinsured, and little to no assets, and they hurt you, and quality of life has changed. You have punitive damages, which is a fancy way of saying pain and suffering. You've got disability. You've got extended medical. You've got lost wages, on and on and on. You can add in on your policy a bucket of money that would pay you like if they had a sufficient policy in force. Or if you went to a court of law and they says, okay, the other person was at fault, damages are $200,000, you deserve $200,000 for your pain and suffering, your medical bills, on and on and on. And your policy literally responds to protect you. So it's definitely important coverage. There is a cost to it. There's no doubt. It is one of the more expensive ones because so many people out there are underinsured.
Right.
But, I tell people, look, and clients say to me, well, Doug, that's not fair. So you're telling me I'm having to pay for people who don't pay their insurance. And it's kind of like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm the guy here just showing you how the game works and how to play it. You got to make that decision. But I will tell you this, me personally, over the years, I have seen some very bad uninsured motorist claims. And I've seen those clients that have that coverage and how valuable that is. And again, most personal injury attorneys will recommend that very, very highly. And so I carry it on my policy. I carry it on my umbrella. I think it's well worth it just for that peace of mind protection.
Yeah, I think it's real important for the consumers out there. Again, we're talking with Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. Take a look at what you have in place in terms of your home and auto, but really think through what it is. I know everyone looks at the bottom line and thinks, do I have the coverage I need? You really need to talk to somebody. Give Doug a call and find out what it means. What are your policies actually going to do in the event that you have to make a claim?
Absolutely. And we try to take a real practical approach. Listen, I always tell people, we always, we tell our team, we take the air out of the balloon. We have engagement conversations with our clients. We'll normally ask something like, other than price, which we realize is most important, what else is next most important?
Right.
We get that. There's no one out there saying, I want to overpay for anything, right? And that's our nature, and that's okay. And what I've always liked being as an independent agent, I really feel we sit on the same side of the table as our client, because I can shop over 25 companies to absolutely find you the best rate.
Well,
but what I can also do is shoot straight and say, listen, you may consider this coverage, this option, this carrier, this instance, and pay a little bit more because here's the value you're going to receive.
Right.
And here's what I found over the years, James. Everybody wants the cheapest, least expensive up front when they're buying it. And on the back end, when they have a claim, they always want the most. Right?
Yes.
That makes sense. That's
It
that
does.
kind of human nature, right? And there's some funny memes or pictures out there kind of on that scenario. But, the reality is we live in a world where, bad things happen, and we're in that that prevention business to say, hey, if something bad happens, we want to be able to put you back the way you were. You may want to consider those things. And again, we take your budget in mind, and we just try and make real practical recommendations. Say, okay, well, maybe you don't need an umbrella, but maybe you increase your coverage from 2550 liability up to 5100 liability because, you've got a good paying job, you've got some cash in the bank, and you've got some assets to protect. Here's some things you can do.
100%. Makes total sense. Folks out there, if you're listening, that's Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, and just take the time to take a look at what you're doing. I know you feel like you're in compliance with the law, but that's not what's going to take care of you. What's going to take care of you is the actual clauses and phraseology, the wording in your policy, and find out somebody that will work with you and explain that stuff to you. Getting near the end here, Doug, I wanted to just have you discuss, if you would, a little bit about insurance in general. I mentioned before we started about some of these athletes and some different entertainers seeking insurance policies as we start the sports world again. There's no way to really sit out as an actuary or make calculations that can tell you how safe someone is out in the world. How are these guys going to approach? How would you even approach a policy like that? How are these guys going to get an athletic coverage policy?
So, and we talked about it. It's a great question. It's interesting. I'm a huge sports fan in general, and I don't know, James, if this hits you, man. I started flipping around the other night, seeing some of the spring training because baseball's coming back, and you see, two teams playing and no one in the stands, and just how bizarre.
Yeah,
right?
It's a new world, I'll tell you.
And I get it. I totally get it. I'm not advocating, I don't know that I'd show up at the stadium anytime soon, but it was a very long sports fan for, 30 plus years.
Sure.
Just very strange. But anyway, these guys are putting themselves at higher risk, right? They got to be around each other, and baseball maybe not as much, but yeah, if you're a basketball player, or try not having contact in basketball.
Right.
How's that going to work?
Right.
Football and things. So, I think what they're saying is, they're looking for some additional policies and protections. Now, look, at the end of the day, these are for-profit insurance companies, right? They're out there to make money. It's one of the largest industries in the world.
Right.
So I'm sure if some creative carrier underwriter can come along and figure a way to underwrite it and make it profitable, they probably will. I don't see that happening anytime soon because there's so many unknowns. And historically, the industry has said these are things that are just excluded, right? Like there are certain things, acts of war, for example, or, self-inflicted harm. There's just certain things that the policy is going to say we're not going to be able to cover all of it. So
Makes sense.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think you could probably tie it and always looking for the more practical. I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully we've got some professional athlete listeners, but probably not the majority of the listeners out there of, John Q. Public listening. I think the more practical thing to just dial in and say is, if you got hurt or sick, how would you continue to pay your bills?
Right.
That's an important question to ask. And most times if you talk to people and you say, what's your biggest assets? Most people are going to say their home. I'd actually push back on that and argue from the financial standpoint, it's your ability to earn money.
Wow.
And that applies to all of us,
Yeah.
right? And I think, good financial advisors will tell you that, and attorneys and different things. So our call to action would be, and we do it, is disability income insurance. You say, hey, if you got hurt on the job, how would you continue to pay your mortgage?
Right.
And some people may have it through their work, and that's good if they do. But there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of smaller businesses that don't offer that. There's a lot of people that may are at a bigger business and they've never signed up for it. So, really an important thing is just to get your eyes on that and say, okay, if something really serious happened. God forbid I got COVID.
Right.
God forbid, I can't work for who knows how long. Where does my source of funding come from? So we do disability insurance, life insurance, all of that. And it's definitely an important part of a good financial plan.
Absolutely. This Doug Levi, Strategic. What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you, Doug?
So best thing they can do, two things, TampaBayInsurance.com. That's a pretty easy one to remember. And then here's another one. We think it's an easy one, 866-INS, short for insurance, 0123. So 866-INS, short for insurance, 0123. They can text or call into that number.
All right.
And we have had several listeners reach out not too long ago looking for information and proposals.
I'm looking forward to sharing your information with our partners out there. Thanks so much, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. When we come back, we're going to talk to Chuck Peterson from Suncoast Roofing. Stay right with us. The Consumer Quarterback Show rolls on.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
That's right. ConsumerQB.com is where you can find all the partners on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We've gone out of our way to collect these folks and provide information for you. We want to empower you as a consumer in the marketplace. And Brandon is out today. My name is James DeJerome. I'm the backup quarterback and the executive producer of the show here. I want to introduce you to some of the sponsors that sponsor the Consumer Quarterback program. You've heard Brandon talk about Brothers Easy Moving before. Brothers Easy Moving has been a long-time friend of the program. They've really helped Brandon himself. They moved Brandon himself. Whether you're talking about a national move, a local move, whatever it might be, Brothers Easy Moving gets it done. These guys have great staff. They come out, make sure everything is packed correctly. They'll do everything from interstate travel, local, long distance, as I said. And these guys go the extra mile to make sure that your stuff's going to arrive there without being chipped or scratched. They did a great job. And like I said, Brandon knows those guys. They moved him into his new place, and he recommends them highly, and so do I. They've been on the program before. So that's Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure to get in touch with them to take care of all your moving needs. And again, I've got some properties because Brandon, again, is Keller Williams and the Platinum MVP team. We've got a couple of properties for you listing here. I've got one at 422 Wildwood Way in BELLEAIR. Now, this one's a fantastic two-story BELLEAIR home. Just got a new roof put on in July. I'll make sure Chuck knows about that. 3.5 bath, wonderful part of Tampa. BELLEAIR is a high-end community with multiple pro-style golf course, just minutes to the beaches. This home was recently renovated, gorgeous wood flooring throughout, front porch sitting area. I'm telling you, this is fresh paint throughout. Looks like a fenced backyard. Recently finished the inspection. The owner has additional areas built-in shelving, closet, storage areas, Vivint doorbell system, access to camera security. Boy, it's really close to all gyms and restaurants. Great shopping right near TIA. 422 Wildwood Way from BELLEAIR. Another platinum MVP property for you is 12500 Hamlin. 12500 Hamlin, Spring Hill, Florida. Land development opportunity. He's got 41 acres. Huge potential for new residential development, farming or equestrian use. Wow, look at that. There's a lot of property. If you guys are watching on the TV side, it looks like you could start yourself a ranch out there. Man, what a good-looking spot. 12500 Hamlin Road in Spring Hill. Let me see what he says here. It says this unit, tenant occupied, could rent, great opportunity with Lacucci River, close proximity to TIA and 41. Man, what a beautiful piece of land that is. I got one more for you at 520 George Street. 520 George Street's in Tarpon Springs. It says, bring your boat, jet skis, and stand-up paddleboards. Get ready to fish from your own dock. Gorgeous lakefront home. 520 George Street. Boy, this custom-built home has heated square-foot apartment attached. It is tucked away in a quiet dead-end street near many amenities. I told you about the mother-in-law suite, has its own air conditioning unit. Approximate rents would range from $1,000 to $1,500. They figured it all out for you. They've got a fully remodeled bathroom, kitchen. Second floor is dedicated to the private master suite, generous living space. Man, that is a good-looking property at 520 George Street in Tarpon Springs. So any of these, please contact Brandon and the team over at Keller Williams. They'd be happy to show you any of these properties. And as you're out there looking around, you may run into some properties that need a roof. And if you do, we've got a great partner for you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. One of our partners is Chuck Peterson from Suncoast Roofing. Chuck, you on the phone?
I am.
So Chuck's been out there, and today you've been up on the roof already, huh?
Yeah, I've been doing 2 apartment complexes today, so 2 different apartment complexes already today.
So you guys do everything, right? Residential, commercial?
Commercial, yep, and industrial. We do any kind of roof that's out there.
I got you. It doesn't matter, ceramic tile, shingle, metal, you guys do it all.
We do every kind that there is, yeah. Actually, and the one that Brandon's got the new roof on, they actually, Brandon sent me their information, and I called them, and they had just signed a contract with somebody. So, unfortunately, we did not do that roof.
Didn't get them a chance to save money there.
No. No.
Now, you guys do it, like I said, roofing, of course, and you're all over the place. Pretty much the whole state, huh, Chuck?
Correct. We do everything pretty much except for the southeast down there where Broward and Miami-Dade and Monroe
Gotcha.
County are.
Gotcha.
Everything else we pretty much cover.
And I remember how big it was when Mexico City, and the last time that was so tragic. You guys were up there for a good 4 or 5 months, it seemed like.
We were there for a year and a half.
Holy cow.
And, yeah, we got an office in Tallahassee, but we just moved a bunch of folks over to Panama City, and we stayed there for a year and a half.
Think about it, guys. They just relocated a whole section of their workforce and just took on that huge project. And you know how there was so many tarps. To talk about that scene if you could there, Chuck.
Yeah, we actually, we got called in by some water restoration guys the next day, and we were already headed that way. And we put out 500 and something tarps the first week. And then we had to stop because we ran out of tarps and everybody was trying to get tarps. But literally we ended up I'm not sure how many we put out in the long run, but we put out over 500 the first week.
Can you imagine? So pretty much all hands on deck. Is that your whole crew, everybody?
No, we brought some crews in for that,
right?
Because we had some of the guys we know crew have family and friends and that kind of stuff in other places. So we brought some crews in from out of state to do the tarping, and then when we started doing the shingles, we have our own guys do that.
Now, Chuck, in an event like that, did you guys experience scarcity? Was it hard to find supplies at all, or did you see an impact?
Always. Yeah, always hard to find once it happens. You try to gear up for what you can, and we thought we had done well with getting 500 tarps, but we underestimated the potential damage up there by a bit, and it was pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, from what I saw, there were so many trees snapped. I don't know what would you do with all that trees that were down?
Yeah, we actually partnered with a couple tree guys, and so and then when we got up there, the tree guys are calling us to, they've got people calling them to get the trees off their roof, but they don't have any way to tarp their roof. So we work with a lot of tree companies in an event like that. We actually have a group, an alliance group that we take with us. It's tree guys and water restoration guys, the roofing guys, and the insurance guys that do the insurance claims, the large loss guys.
I got you.
So we have a kind of a group together that we take and we travel together.
That's Chuck Peterson, Suncoast Roofing. His team can respond, and they sure do for any of your roofing needs. Now, let's talk about regular roofing. I've seen some of the projects. You sent some photos here, some of the great stuff you guys are doing. The job you're looking at in St. Pete is, you said it's apartments?
Yeah, apartment complex in St. Pete, and then I'm headed to a lady's house here at 2:30 in St. Pete just to look at a chimney plastering. So we do everything from small repairs on residential houses to maintenance programs for these large commercial operations to actually re-roofing the whole complexes, which we're doing in the middle of Tampa there at a complex there. We're redoing all the flat decks, the shingles, and adding some new AC stands and that kind of stuff on the commercial side. So we really kind of cover the whole gamut. We try to make sure there's nothing we can't do, and so we get all that. We get all those guys trained, and like I said, we got repair crews everywhere. So we do everything from, a little repair on your house to all the big stuff.
Now, it seems like it used to be we're in that pattern where we get rain every day, and I know it's not great for you guys. We're kind of getting back to it. Have you noticed?
Yes, yeah, and it's not great, but it is. It's part of Florida,
right.
So we roof around it, and you just have to look at the weather first thing in the morning and make your best guess that you can, and so it slows down the overall production because you have to take that into account. But it's part of living in Florida.
It sure is. Now, you guys at Suncoast, we've had Mary on the show before, and you talk about finding most of your crew coming from the state of Florida.
I'm saying it's 50-50 maybe.
Okay.
A lot of these guys come down, that we hire, especially in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
When we're doing pretty well, the guys that roof up north, but they all are on our payroll. So when they show up to your house, they work for Suncoast Roofing. We don't sub out anybody.
Okay.
So everybody we have, and we got 150, 170, something like that, production guys on the payroll every week. Now,
what about making it any way you can put some shade up there for those guys?
No.
I saw I used to work with a couple of guys, and the old buckets, that broomstick across your back with 2 tar buckets going up a ladder.
Yeah.
That'll wear you out.
Tough living. Yeah.
That will wear you right out.
It's a young man's sport. There's no question. And, they carry tents, and when it's lunchtime, they'll go down and get under a tree and get under a tent or something like that. But you can't stop that heat on the roof.
I thought you were going to tell me there's a new technology out there, some kind of new fabric maybe. No?
No, there's not.
So just remember that, folks, when you got roofers out there, they're in a place, they're working real hard for you.
They're very appreciative if you bring them cold water in the middle of the roof. I can tell you.
That is a good idea. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Chuck. We got a feel-good story for you, too. I got a guy who saved a wolf, actually, a baby coyote. I'll tell you, it sounds like a Disney story. Wait till you hear it. And we'll talk more with Chuck. And, of course, we'll wrap it up for you coming back on the Consumer Quarterback Show. If you need to check out our partners, please do so at consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
That's right. Give Brandon a call for all your real estate needs. Brandon is out today, and backup quarterback James DeJerome is in the chair. We've had a couple of guests already. We had Doug Levi, and we spoke with Chuck Peterson from Suncoast Roofing. And I'm going to tell you something good like we always do on the show. Brandon made sure the Feel Good segment is part of every single show. And before we get to the Feel Good, I want to tell you about Replenish IV Solutions, another sponsor of the show that you've heard Brandon talk about. Now, in a time when everyone's worried about their health, like we are now with the immunity issues for the folks out there, Replenish IV Solutions can be a critical part of your health. These guys are going to give you Replenish IV Solutions provides vitamins and revitalizing fluids right into your body direct through a IV solution. So it's kind of a new idea as far as I'm concerned. Brandon's been doing this for a while. These folks will come right to your house as well. Replenish IV Solutions, all kinds of different anti-aging treatments, hydration boost, inflammation, some are designed to rehabilitate you after a rough night out. So really a lot of things you can do: restore, reinvigorate, and revive with Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. And on the show, Brandon's made a point of making the feel-good story kind of the idea behind the show, the random act of kindness and the feel-good story. And we got a good one today. It sounds like a Disney movie. Wait till you hear this one. So a man saves a coyote pup from drowning. He was out on a rafting trip in Saskatchewan, saved a young coyote from drowning. He ended up nursing it back to health during a 10-day adventure. This gentleman named was Justin. He started out on a multi-day rafting trip down the Red Deer and South Saskatchewan rivers. While he was rafting, he heard a commotion. He was fishing, heard something in the water start squeaking. He looked over and he saw some kind of animal swimming in the river, just a nose sticking out above the water. He tried to reach in and grab it, but he fell in himself. So he was able to hold on to this animal and the canoe that he was in for a while and finally got back to shore, and turns out it was a baby coyote. It says when he brought the animal back to the raft, the little coyote was unconscious, didn't seem to be breathing. Pup was lucky again because Justin knew how to do CPR. He did CPR on this little thing, believe it or not. He did a Heimlich maneuver, pushing on its stomach. After a few pushes, water squirted out of the coyote's nose. He was breathing again. Justin and his new friend were soaked, but they ended up getting back, building a fire, and warming right up. So he said he kept him with him during his rafting trip. The next 10 days or so, because he had limited cell service, he would stay in touch with his wife, explaining what had happened. She made a call to the SPCA. They got in touch with Swift Current, as a group that nurses wild animals back to life. So they said that their rehabber named Melanie has now got the little pup with him, and he'll be released back into the wild as soon as he's ready to go. So there you go. Next time you're out and you see a coyote, you may be able to save him, or you never know what's going to happen in the wild. You got to be careful or be ready for all of the circumstances. But I thought that was a really cool story. It sounded, again, like a Disney movie. I saw the guy who saved a dog and becomes best friends with a coyote. Anyway, the feel-good story and the random act of kindness and all the things Brandon's built into the show, I want to make sure that you guys realize that's the backbone of the program. That's why we're doing what we do. And consumer advocacy is critical to us. We want to make sure you know what you're doing out there as a consumer. Chuck Peterson with Suncoast Roofing is one of our longest partners on the show, and Chuck has been able to provide information about roofing and different situations. You heard us talk about hurricane season and the way he's responded in the past to different hurricane events in our state. So, Chuck, when you're out there and you're thinking of folks getting ready for hurricane season, should they get up there on the ladder and walk their roof, or should they call you, or is there something they can do before they get heavy wind and rain?
Well, they definitely should call us and have us come out there and look at the roof. You could get on your roof if you'd like, but that's a pretty iffy deal, especially, the older you get, the more iffier that becomes.
Right.
And it's easy for our guys. I mean, they're trained to be on the ladders, trained to be on the roof, and we can come out there and look at the roof. It doesn't cost anything for us to come out there and look at your roof and see if anything needs to be done, tightened up. Any little repairs need to be done to make sure it's, watertight as it can be before I know it's hurricane season now, but as we all know, our hurricane season is September and October.
Yeah, I always feel like September's the month for me. That first September 1st used to be, that first month was the month I thought, man, this is the one we got to make it through.
Yeah, and this year, if we get a storm, it's going to be bad because that water out there is so warm.
Yeah, it's hot.
And if it comes up through the Gulf, Tampa's ducked and dodged every year, and even the big ones we had the last couple of years, maybe we were going to get hit, but we didn't. So at some point, that's coming.
Hey, Chuck, I know you were just talking about walking on the roof, and it just occurred to me about pitches. Have you seen new construction? Are we phasing out the flat roofs out there, or are we still going to see flat roofs?
The flat roofs are going to be gone. They are all going to have pitch now, but if you are a homeowner and you have a flat roof, and that's typically a place that leaks in your house, is that where the
Water's
single part comes down to your flat deck, and you have your flat deck over top of your lanai or your back patio or your front porch or something like that. When we repair those or replace those, we actually add pitch to all those areas now so that you don't have a flat deck any longer. The water can't stand on your roof and just, over time break your roof down.
Now, the other one I've seen is a really steep pitch. How do you guys handle a roof that's really pitched super steep?
We got a couple crews that'll do those, and they actually tie off at the top of the roof. They walk boards on the sides and tie off on the top, and it's a challenge. I will say it is a challenge.
I can imagine. I've seen some of the, over time you see different construction. You wonder why in the world do they pick that particular pitch? Or I always wonder with the flat ones, it's going to sit up there.
Yeah, the flat ones are one thing, but the steep pitches are another. I mean, that's the regular Florida house in the old days was a pretty easy pitch you could get up and walk around on. Mm-hmm. The ones now, the new ones, they're building like you're living in the Northeast with these great big 8 and 10, 12 pitch houses, straight up and down. And I don't know. I'm a fan of the regular old Florida house.
You're saying that extreme pitch is for snow.
That's what it is.
I got you.
It literally is for snow. I mean, that's one reason that they pitch them really hard up north is so that snow will not stay on your roof.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've been down here so long I forgot all about it.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, so tell me about materials. We talked about shingles and supplies. Have you ever seen a combination? I have a 2-story house, and I thought I'd love to have a metal roof on my upper roof, but I was thinking maybe the bottom one would need to be solar or something. I wanted to change it out. Have you seen combinations where people use metal in conjunction with another material? Yeah,
metal and shingles a lot. The people will put shingles on, and they'll put metal over their front porch or their lower story or something like that. It's more like a kind of a decorative type thing.
Oh, for looks. I got you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have metal and shingles together a lot.
Now you found
one thing about the shingles that that Brandon and I always talk about. If you do that shingle roof, you get that GAF warranty, which is 50-year warranty.
I forgot you guys are 50 years. That's incredible.
Yep. That's the best in the business.
Now, if you were isn't it metal? You don't even need 50 with metal, do you? It's on the product, isn't it?
The metal itself is warranted for 25.
Okay.
But as long as you maintain that product, it will last 40 or 50 years. As long as you do what's required by the manufacturer to keep it in check and in shape, the material itself will last quite some time.
I really like them. I know it's more expensive on the front end, but they seem to survive well. In fact, that some of the hurricane video I saw from that site you guys were at, it seemed like some of the ones that survived were metal.
Yeah, I mean, when we've had hurricanes on both sides of the states that we've worked on, and if you have a metal roof, they did hang in there better than the shingle roofs, by and large, as a broad statement. Those metal roofs did hang in there in the hurricanes better than the shingle roofs did.
Because once it's really just a matter of the wind working that first shingle back. Once they start peeling them back, there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean it's 100%. Once that first layer, and that's why we put that peel and stick down on your roof deck, the underlayment that goes under the shingles, because it sticks to that roof deck, and it goes under everything we put on the roof. So shingles, metal, tile, everything gets the same type of underlayment. And that's what really protects your roof. And since it's a membrane and it's made to be out in the open, on its own, if it pulls those shingles off, the chance of your roof leaking tremendously is pretty slim. It's still that those shingles, that underlayment will still hold in there.
Chuck, we got a few minutes left. I wanted to just talk about that solar product that you guys have. It's a little different. Folks, if you've been out there and you've seen solar panels on a roof, they're elevated. There's a little gap in there. Chuck's got something a little different. Chuck, can you explain a little bit about what you guys are doing?
Yeah. So the solar panels we have now, they actually go straight onto your roof deck. So there's no space between your shingle and your solar panel.
Right.
And your solar company isn't going out there and drilling holes through your shingles and voiding your warranty. We put it right onto the deck. It goes on the same time your shingles do. And it looks, really, it's no higher off your roof deck than like a skylight would be. If you looked up and saw a skylight on somebody's house, it's that height. And then they're black panels, so they're just flat on your roof deck. And they look really good. They perform really, really well. We had a lot of good success with that panel, in the last year and a half, 2 years we've been putting them on.
You said no penetration, so it's got a peel and stick background back as well?
It's got a peel and stick underneath it, and it's got a fire-rated peel and stick underneath the panel, so that if something were to happen to the electronics on top, it doesn't just burn your house down.
Gotcha.
And then it's sealed right around the edge and shingled around the edge, so it's part of your roof structure when we're done, versus the other guys that are putting it through your roof to your roof structure. They're punching holes and leaving, screw holes in the middle of your shingles.
Yeah, leave it to a roofer to figure out a way to not put a hole in your roof. You guys are going to figure out a way around that.
Yeah, we got it, and it does really well. So
that product there's no wind shear, or a lot less.
No, I mean it comes with and it actually comes with a 25-year warranty if we do your roof at the same time. So it's the same manufacturer, GAF, as the shingles, and so you get a combined warranty of 25 years on your panels and 50 years on your roof, and it's not like the panels are going to quit working at the end of 25 years, but that's the warranty that you get. They just keep on going. I mean, it's once you have that piece done, plus you get your tax credit for the solar panels this year.
Can't beat that.
No, it's a very, very, very good thing to look at if you're looking at redoing your shingle roof right now. Those panels are really something to look at.
Yes, sir. Okay, Chuck Peterson, Suncoast Roofing. He can handle all your roofing needs. Remember, folks, we're coming in. Floridians know, man, hurricane season's no joke, so be prepared. Thanks so much for hanging with us today. I know Brandon was out on vacation. I'm so appreciative of the opportunity he gives me to take his place when he's not here. Check us out online, consumerquarterback.com. It's where you can see all our partners. And don't forget, every day, weekdays, 93.7 FM, AM 860, 4 p.m. Check us out, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time